Well, yes, the Tim's Vinyl Confessions crew, or three of us, are going to be going to Portland to see Adrian Vandenberg with Vandenberg, playing a lot of Whitesnake, hopefully some more Vandenberg. We see them at the Aura Club in Portland, which is where we saw Jeff Tate last year. Nice little venue, good size, good seating, really isn't a bad view anywhere. So very much looking forward to it. And like we did for Jeff Tate, and also like we did for Sebastian Bach, I thought it would be fun to put together a fantasy set list episode. And this is purely fantasy on my part. I'm an enormous fan of Vandenberg. Can't believe I'm actually getting to see Adrian live. But to me, I understand from a commercial point of view why he's promoting it as a lot of Whitesnake. That's his highest profile. I understand that. I like the band Vandenberg. I like the first three albums in the 80s, and I like the two recent albums that they did with the reconfigured lineups. I'd like to hear more Vandenberg in the set. I know that's not going to happen, but that did inform my fantasy set list. So I want to throw this at you. See what you think, how listenable a set list this would be to see Vandenberg in concert in 2025. First, I think a perfect opener would be the first song on side 2 of the 1982 Vandenberg debut album, Ready For You. It's fast, it's upbeat, and it's written to be an opening song. There's no question. If you listen, you know, that's what it's about. We're going to rock this place tonight. So yeah, I'd like to hear Ready For You. And then, just to get people on side, the slip of the tongue version of Fool For Your Loving. Originally it was from Ready and Willing in 1980. And, you know, though Steve Vai plays all the guitars on Slip of the Tongue, I want to feature this album heavily because besides Fool For Your Loving, Adrian co-wrote the entire album and was going to be the guitarist on this album. So, yeah, Fool For Your Loving, the Slip of the Tongue version, something familiar to most of the people in the crowd. Then, we're going to flip-flop back to the debut Vandenberg album for the opening track, Your Love Is In Vain, the heavy blues shuffle. You get the crowd clapping, to-dum, to-ga, to-dum, to-ga. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Yeah, and then next we're going to follow with another song from Slip of the Tongue, the second track in the album, Cheap and Nasty. I want to hear Matt Slevin sing. The guy's got a great voice. He's got a lot of Coverdale in his voice, so this is going to be awesome no matter what they play. Next up, I want to feature an album that I think is overlooked by a lot of fans, even though it was re-released a few years ago. The ironic thing is that in the Whitesnake catalog, it's the only one that Adrian Vandenberg plays all the guitars on. Restless Heart from 1997. This is the reissue cover. And yeah, I would like to hear the ballad Too Many Tears. Great, great mid-tempo ballad. Should have been a hit. Wasn't. Might have done okay in the UK, I'm not sure. And then we're going to flip ahead to 2 years ago for the most recent Vandenberg album, Sin, with this awesome artwork by the man himself, for the song Light It Up. That, you know, people don't need to be familiar with the song to get behind that one. It's made for crowd participation. After that, we're going to do a medley of sorts. We're going to go into Judgment Day from Slip of the Tongue. And we're going to segue, because they're very similar in tempo, to the title song from Sin. They both got I've got that sort of Kashmir, you know, last in line kind of thing. After that, we're going to play, you know, by now, maybe people are getting restless. I don't know. I don't care. But we're going to do another hit single, The Deeper the Love, which was a, you know, top 30 single from Slip of the Tongue. Slow, but it's not a complete ballad, and people know it, so that'll be next in the set list. And then we're gonna take a little page from another album there that I haven't shown yet. We're gonna do a little acoustic mini set. So Adrian comes out, acoustic guitar. Matt Slevin's waiting to start singing, and Adrian does the Prelude Mortal from the third Vandenberg album, Alibi. But instead of going into the title song, we're going to give a little bit of a nod to this also little-known album from 1998. This is called Starkers in Tokyo. If you've got the Whitesnake Unzipped that Coverdale put out a few years ago, you've got everything that's on here and then some. But this is, as you can see here, David Coverdale and Adrian Vandenberg, just the two of them, voice and acoustic guitar, playing a set in front of what sounds like a very, very small crowd, very intimate. So we're going to go with a couple songs they do on here, but I'm going to mash them together. So from Prelude Mortal, Adrian's going to go into Soldier of Fortune from Deep Purple, from the Stormbringer album. That's a Coverdale era album, of course. And Coverdale did that well into the Whitesnake years, and a good version of it on Starkers in Tokyo. And then it's going to segue into the closing track from Slip of the Tongue, namely Sailing Ships. And maybe the band kicks in. I'll have to talk to them about that. I don't know. Maybe the band will kick in for that one. And then we got to pick it back up again. So we go back to the new album, Sin, for Hit the Ground Running, which I believe they are doing in concert. So great song. Can't go wrong with that. After that, we're going to go to one of my favorite sort of deeper cuts from Slip of the Tongue, the side 2 opener, Wings of the Storm. Like that's a good up-tempo number to get people, rocking, banging their heads, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to go with the title song from the Restless Heart album. Great tune. Then we're going to go to what is, in my opinion, one of the best classic hard rock power ballads to come out in the last, I'm going to say, 10, 20 years. Baby You've Changed from this album, from Sin. What a great song. Coverdale had put words, sung this in the late 80s. It would have been a hit. This is a great, great, great song. I just love it. And that'll be the last from this album. And then you'll notice I haven't featured anything from Slide It In or the Whitesnake 1987 album. And there's a reason for that. Well, I wanted to feature more Vandenberg. I wanted to feature more of Slip of the Tongue and then a little bit of Restless Heart. But the main set will close. And now, sadly, Adrian will, add a dedication to the late John Sykes, who played on the 1987 album, the 99.5% of it. And then they'll close the main set with Still of the Night, which I think would be appropriate. Next, after a brief period, band comes out for an encore, and they start the encore off with the title song from Slip of the Tongue. This is a platinum album. A lot of people know that. It's the first thing that they would have heard if they put that on. Then, the only Vandenberg song that hit the top 40 in the States, their calling card single, if anybody knows them, the ballad Burning Heart, which is one of my favorite power ballads of all time. And I've gone on record many times as saying it's my favorite guitar solo of all time. Now, it's multi-tracked on the studio version, but I've seen Adrian do it live, live clips. They'll pull it off. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it. And then, to say goodnight, of course, Here I Go Again, the 87 version, which is the one song in the 1987 album that Adrian played on. He played the guitar solo, so, people will be looking forward to hearing that. That, to me, would make a really good modern Vandenberg set and throw in plenty of Whitesnake. I know this isn't going to be what we see. And what we see is going to be great, and we're going to document it as best we can. We're going to have a road trip episode. But for now, this is what I'd like to see live, to see Vandenberg in 2025. I don't know. What do you think? Comment below. And if you're a Vandenberg fan, hey, cheers. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time on Tim's Vinyl Confessions.